Well, good morning once again, and welcome to Smith Rock State Park in the state of Oregon. So it's been a while since I've had a video, and I have to assure you it wasn't for lack of trying. Well, it actually was for a couple weeks, but yeah, I was out twice, and so first time I went to Snow Lake, which is just off of Interstate 90 at Snoqualmie Pass. I went there. The conditions weren't all that good, and I didn't really come away with any pictures or images that I was really proud of. But the reason I didn't release a video is I just couldn't link together the story. I don't know if it was lack of creativity on my part or what, but yeah, it just didn't work out, and I wasn't happy with what I could put together as far as a story. And then 2 weeks ago, I was at High Rock Lookout, which is just outside of Mount Rainier National Park. And there again, when I got there for sunset, it's about a 1.5 mile hike up to an old fire lookout tower. I went there for sunset hoping to catch some atmosphere. I knew there was going to be clouds in the sky, but I was hoping for something along the ridge or a valley view, or maybe even a view of Mount Rainier or part of it. But there again, I just couldn't link together a story, and the weather moved in. Ended up in a whiteout at the top of the hike, and so yeah, I just couldn't stitch together a story there either. So 2 strikes, and now my third time. I came down to Bend, Oregon, and it's my first time here. It's to Smith Rock State Park. I got here before sunrise. Sunrise this time of year in the middle of December is at 7:41, so pretty late, and it's just 10 minutes after 7 right now, so still have a little bit of time before sunrise. I've played around with a couple blue hour compositions. This is just right off the trail. The parking area is just right up there, so not far down at all. I'm going to probably break out a graduated filter or do some exposure blending and see what I can come up with this classic first composition. And then I'm going to probably head back down into the canyon here and see what else there is down along the river. This is the standard shot, so I have to take it. So let's see what we can come up with. So for this classic composition looking down the valley, not a lot to it. There's actually not too much happening in the sky right now, but I am going to manually bracket this. I'm not going to use any ND filters just because of the shape of the ridge line. It'd be really hard even with a soft edge ND grad to expose that correctly. So I'm going to bracket my exposure. I'm going to do it manually. I'm going to take one exposure, exposing for the sky, and go ahead and take that, and then take a second exposure, exposing for the shadows and the midground, and take that one, and I'll be able to blend those together in Photoshop when I get back home. Well, I made it down to the bottom of the canyon, but the wind has picked up considerably, and it's now starting to rain. So I'm just going to call it for this morning. I'm actually here tonight, and there we go. Having trouble keeping the rain off the lens. I'm here in Bend tonight and tomorrow morning. So I'm not heading back until tomorrow around noon. So I got sunset tonight and sunrise in the morning. So the forecast looks better. I'm going to wrap it up for this morning. I'll see you in just a second, which will be later tonight. Well, welcome back. And so this morning when I left you, I was down at the bottom of the canyon in some rain and wind, and now I'm working my way up the opposite side of the canyon wall to hopefully get some perspective looking to the west for sunset. And it's a bit of a workout. It's basically a climber's trail. It's pretty sort of steep, but you gain a lot of altitude in a pretty short distance. So I'm working my way up. You can see the trail there behind me, and I'll check in with you when I get up to the top. Okay, well, basically up to the top. Actually, this is the Misery Ridge Trail, and I'm actually working my way to this point here, which will give me a view of the Smith Rock Prominence here with the river, the Crooked River, namely, or aptly named, going around it. So, yeah, not too bad. The trail coming up is, as I said below, is pretty steep, but it's extremely well maintained. You know, hats off to the Oregon State Parks and the trail maintenance people that take care of these places. But yeah, working my way over here to the edge of the rock, and should give me a nice view out to the west. So let me see what I can find. Well, I was in a little bit of a rush to get up here. It's now like 3:48, and sunset is at 4:18, so I have like 30 minutes. So I did want to get up here in time to at least scout out a composition. I pretty much knew what I was looking for, which is this view here, but I've never been up here before, so I needed to kind of scout out the ridge and see kind of where to place my tripod and work the composition. This is the safest area. I'm up here by myself, so I don't want to get in any place that's too exposed. It's also a bit windy, so I want to be careful with the tripod, especially that tripod, which is not as sturdy as the old Really Right Stuff here. But yeah, I'm going to get my composition set. I'm not holding out any hope for any sunset color, although there are some clouds and interest off to the west. Unfortunately, this time of year I don't have a direct view to the sunset over the rock, but that's just something we have to deal with. Well, I've moved my tripod over to give me a better perspective looking to the west. It allows me to put the this rock prominence, which is part of Smith Rock State Park, off center on the left side, and still use the river as a leading line. I would rather be on this ridge over here, but unfortunately that's going to have to be for another day. That would have given me a much better perspective of the horseshoe of the river. But yeah, I've never been here before, and it would be probably another 10 minutes or so to get over there, and there's just not enough time. So I have these rock feet on my tripod, and they do help grip the rock, but I have lowered everything, including that tripod and this tripod, just because of the wind. I don't want anything to fall over and take a tumble. Really one composition here, shooting this at f9. I'm going to do a manual bracket. There is some texture in the sky, so I'll underexpose to bring out the detail in the sky, and then properly expose for the mid and foreground. The shutter speed is what it is. So yeah, that's going to do it, I think. Just really two compositions. Unfortunately, this trip to Smith Rock, I wasn't able to get the light, and this place really needs light because it would bring out so much contrast in the rock. But unfortunately, didn't have it. So make the most of what I got, and I'll show you the picture right now. Well, all right, all packed up, backpack on. I'm gonna start heading down. I was thinking earlier, I said I would apologize for the lack of light, but not much you can do about old Mother Nature. But yeah, this is a great state park. I've really enjoyed it. It's a nice little hike coming up here to the ridge. So anyway, with the lack of light, I hope you enjoyed coming along. I hope you stayed with me. So I'm going to end it here, and that's it from Smith Rock State Park in the beautiful state of Oregon, Central Oregon. So if you enjoyed the video, I always appreciate a thumbs up, and if you want to continue to get updates and follow me as I continue to develop as a landscape photographer, well then at least consider hitting that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.